Today I would like to talk on the topic of how women create competition with each other. Now, this is usually quite an unconscious process, and actually also sometimes quite a conscious process of how women can create separation with one another and also mask certain qualities of themselves in front of women in certain situations. And it's something that I'm quite passionate about exploring and unpacking with women, because there are certain notions and ideas that women have that another beautiful woman is a threat to them. And in the workshops I've been running over the past 2 years with women, it's been really beautiful to normalize the shadow around femininity and the feeling of competition and threat women have. So usually a great way to explore your own feelings of threat and competition towards another woman is asking some simple questions of what is the inner dialogue that is happening inside of your mind when you're in the room with a woman who is perceived by you empowered and beautiful. Do you celebrate her faults and put her down in order to make yourself feel better? So example, you might have like a complete goddess in the room and everyone's looking at her and you'll be like, yeah, she's beautiful, but she's a bitch. Or, yeah, she's beautiful, but her left finger is crooked and she looks a bit retarded. This is what I mean by trying to celebrate her faults to make yourself feel better. Or on the contrary, what we usually do is also put ourselves down. So we put ourselves in a level of inferiority compared to what is perceived to be a beautiful woman externally. And we put ourselves down and we start to have self-criticizing dialogue inside and have lots of self-hatred. So there is a bit of a paradox in the way that we can respond to this type of woman. But usually when we're feeling insecure, it's never really harmonious. So what I invite you to do is actually take note of what the inner dialogue is inside your mind when you're confronted with a woman that you might feel intimidated by because of her power or her beauty, and just check like what's going on for you in these moments. And a beautiful way to begin to basically alleviate that tension inside of yourself, whether or not it's being projected outwards as criticism towards her or criticism towards yourself, is obviously first recognizing that we're all different and we have our own unique qualities, but that's not what we care about right now, because that's not going to fix the insecurity. But when it comes to a really beautiful, empowered woman, or a woman that you see as someone that inspires you, but also you feel threatened by, you can see her as qualities of your own hidden potential and see that you are actually projecting parts of yourself that you're not owning onto this type of woman. So for me, I remember being incredibly inspired by women who were amazing speakers and were really putting themselves out there, and also having a lot of humbleness in the way that they were offering their service and their work. But I used to find ways to pull them down, basically. Oh, she's arrogant, she's got so much pride, and this was basically because I wanted to be like this woman in my own way. I wanted to have my own level of empowerment where I felt comfortable and confident enough to share my message. And what I started to do was notice the judgments I was having about this person and flip them into inspiration. And it's not about becoming like a copycat or anything like this, but seeing how your unique qualities and gifts translate in your own way as the same qualities that are being inspired by this person. So I really encourage you as a woman, and also men, the types of people that we feel threatened by in our life, that we feel jealous or envious. Envy is wanting something that we don't have. And when we feel envy towards, say, another woman and her qualities, start to see how those qualities can be developed or are just dormant or unrecognized within yourself, and begin to cultivate them. Also, to share your vulnerability if you're even in a space where you can communicate to this person. You can learn to humanize that person and normalize them into a human being rather than having them on some kind of pedestal, and even share like your vulnerability and say, you know what, I'm envious of you, I'm having these feelings about you, I'm putting myself down, or I'm even putting you down to make myself feel better, and I'm creating separation with you because I have this feeling of threat and competition with you. And when we can start to share even those shadow parts within ourselves, which is so beautiful, because actually when we can be honest about what our own inner dialogue is, especially when we're pulling someone else down, and learn to laugh about it, this can create a lot of intimacy with that woman. Or if you're feeling envious of a beautiful woman, go up to her and tell her that she's beautiful and that you think that she's beautiful, to just diminish that friction and tension that's inside, which I'm sure many women understand what I'm talking about. So this is just a quick little message to share some ways that I have found it easier for me to let go of those walls of separation and feelings of threat and competition that I have with women, and begin to create connection with them. Come up to them, go up to them, befriend them. Don't put on a fake mask and create superficial relationships. If it's not feeling true for you to connect with this person, then don't. But check again how much we're creating walls and separation with women, specifically as a woman, because we feel uncomfortable. And I really invite you to share your vulnerability and your truth and your insecurities with that woman. And I'm sure you'll find that that woman is probably a lot more insecure than you. This is what I found a lot, is sometimes the most beautiful woman in the room is sometimes the most insecure. And when we can learn to normalize and humanize those people that we feel threatened or envious by, and create connection with them, and see how our own potential is being shown in that woman, we can start to come into a space of love and adoration and celebration of the feminine rather than competition.